Hello and welcome to the Falling Knife Project. Today I am going to give a review on the 3 automation services that I'm either currently using or have used in the past, and those are Trade Steward, Trade Automation Toolbox, and Option Omega. This is my opinion only, and this is for entertainment purposes only and not financial advice. Full disclosure also that I have an affiliate link for 50% off for Option Omega that I do get a kickback on. I've been paid out a grand total of $15 thus far, so I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible in this review. Currently trading on Trade Steward and Option Omega right now. I am considering going back to TAT as well, and I'll tell you why in a couple minutes. So let's talk about pricing first. So pricing for Trade Steward is based on the number of bots that you need or want. So it's $83 a month for 8 bots, $116 for 15 bots, $208 for 30 bots. One thing I don't like about their pricing structure is if you're trading something like multiple entry iron condors, each side of the trade, so the call and the put, requires a separate bot. And then if you're running that same exact mechanic but at a separate time, that requires a separate bot as well. So if you're running multiple entry iron condors, you can really chew through your bot allotment quickly. So let's talk about TAT. TAT is based on the number of contracts per day that you trade for their pricing structure. $83 a month for 80 contracts, $125 a month for 160 contracts, $250 a month for unlimited. One thing I should have mentioned out of the gate is I'm basing this pricing off of the 12-month pricing structure. So some of these have like get 2 months free if you buy the 12-month pricing structure. I based it off of that. So if you're buying this based off of the monthly rate, it might be a little bit higher. So again, back to the pricing for Trade Automation Toolbox. You also have to consider that you're going to more than likely want to use a VPS on this, so a cloud computer, which when I used it, it was about $30 a month for that, and I'll explain why you would want that later. They do also have TAT exclusive rates on certain brokers, so I'll talk about the brokers in a little bit, but for TradeStation you can actually get a TAT membership for free, I believe, if you meet certain thresholds of trading, and I don't know if there's dollar amount requirements as well or not. Option Omega, their pricing is more of an all-in model, $249 a month for unlimited trades and templates. It also includes the back testing as well, which on its own, that's $99 a month. In my opinion, you kind of need the back testing if you're going to be doing trading and coming up with your own tests or tweaking and that sort of stuff. So you kind of got to build that into the cost of the other ones if you're going with one of them. Again, that's assuming that you're making your own trades. Coupon codes, so Option Omega, I have a coupon code available for 50% off the first year, so that brings you down to $125, but again, that's only for the first year. So let's talk about Trade Steward specifically. So brokers that they offer: Tasty Trade, Schwab, Tradier, and TradeStation. Tickers, so they by far have the most amount of tickers available, 40 plus. They also have XSP available, which is the SPX but 1/10 of the size, and it's cash settled just like SPX, which is nice because unlike SPY, you don't have to worry about somebody exercising their options on your position. Their support is great. The native entry filter, so they have a lot. They have EMAs, orbs. Is it locally or cloud hosted? It's cloud hosted, which means that you do not need to get a VPS or like a Microsoft cloud computer. They have algo stops, yes they do. They have wide bid ask protection, yes they do. So wide bid ask, that's something that I think is a really important feature. It's somewhat unique to Trade Steward, I would say, at least on the exit side. So what happens is if the bid ask goes super wide and you have that setting toggled on, Trade Steward will prevent your bots from entering or exit positions, assuming you're using algo stops for exit if you're using stop losses. Just helps prevent like stop-again instances like we've seen on the liquidity polls on October 14th and that sort of fun jazz. I've been pushing Option Omega and other services to add this. It seems like it's kind of not the top of the priority list for Option Omega right now. So I do think they have it marked as under consideration, but we'll see. Webhooks available, yes. Knowledge base robust, yes. Strikes match Option Omega backtests, not always, but you can get them pretty close with some tweaking and trial and error. New features added fairly frequently. So the drawbacks, I would say, are the algo stop slippage. Maybe it was anecdotal. I only ran the algo stops on Trade Steward for a couple weeks, but I found it to be quite high. I also don't love the way that the algo stops chase the bid ask. It's as a percentage of the bid ask. That's just not my favorite method. If running multiple entry, we already talked about this. So if you're running multiple entry condors or something like that, you have to use a new bot or set up a new bot for every single one of the entry times and sides of the trade. Setup on some parts of the bot weren't super intuitive to me. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. I'll show you the actual UI. It's not bad, but there were a couple parts where I really had to ask some questions on. Strikes don't always match the Option Omega backtest. They do have efficient spreads, so TAT offers this as well, where if you have a spread on and you're just buying a call or a put wing that's far out of the money, let's say you have it set to 100 points out of the money and there is a 5-cent strike that is available closer to the money, it'll go ahead and buy the nearest to the money strike, which is cool. We talked about the wide bid ask protection, XSP being available. That's a very nice feature. And then also the reporting is very robust. So definitely the best reporting out of the three softwares that I'm talking about here. Let's talk about TAT. So Trade Automation Toolbox brokers are interactive brokers, Mexum, which I am not familiar with, Tradier, and TradeStation. So TradeStation I mentioned already, but looks like you can get a free TAT subscription if you meet certain criteria there. And I think they have exclusive rates with Mexum as well, but again, I'm not familiar with them. I have traded on Tradier, TradeStation, and Interactive Brokers. I am not a huge fan of Tradier or TradeStation, but that's just my opinion. I probably wouldn't use it personally for 0 DTE, but I know people that use it without any issues. Tickers, it has 4 tickers, SPX and SPY. Their support's great. Native entry filters, they have a lot as well. Locally or cloud hosted, so it's hosted locally, which means that it is software you download and run on your own computer or a VPS cloud computer. Most people elect to get a VPS computer because if your personal computer were to freeze or your internet were to go out or the software were to freeze and you had stops on, you would not be able to get out of your position. So when I did it, it was about $30 a month. I'm sure there's probably cheaper options out there. I use Microsoft Cloud Computer. Algo stops, yes. So this is actually a nice advantage for them. Interactive Brokers specifically offers a type of stop called REL stops, which is an algorithmic stop. It tends to have reasonable slippage, at least from what my experience is, but it allows you to set a limit where you would stop chasing that bid ask on the algo stop, which to me that's kind of needed right now. Wide bid ask protection, it looks like they have it, but only for the entry. Webhooks available, yes. Knowledge base robust, yes. Do the strikes match the Option Omega backtest? No, not always. Again, some tinkering's required there, and it still may not always match. New features added pretty frequently, even if they're just small improvements. I always see a lot of updates coming from them. Drawbacks, no wide bid ask protection on the exit. VPS is required. Backtest settings don't match Option Omega out of the gate. The pros are the REL stops, continually making updates, geared more towards 0 DTE. So that's just my opinion. This is what their UI looks like, their interface looks like. So basically what you're doing with them or with TAT is you're setting up templates and you can reuse those templates for different times throughout the day if you're using the same mechanics and just running the same entry at different times. This over here is your scheduled trades for the day. These are trades that were already executed for the day. And then you have, again, different settings over here. I realize I forgot to go through Trade Steward's UI, so let's do that now. So this is where you would go to set up a new bot. So you would select a symbol. You can see, again, Trade Steward has the most symbols. They have over 40. And I just set this to single leg. We'll buy a 50 delta long call. This stuff I found pretty intuitive. Days of the week, time to enter, that sort of stuff. Stop losses is where it got a little interesting. So percentage loss, I set this to 100%. Here's your algo stops. You have different stop speed options. And then your stop groupings. This is, again, where it got a little bit interesting. You had to do some reading here for sure. So each leg, verticals, each short, all shorts on short, net position, stop shorts, entire trade on short, entire trade on long, net position. Now, to their credit, it does have these little question marks that give pretty good detail on what they're talking about. But I still had to ask some questions to make sure that things were executing or I was trading the way I thought I was going to trade. Entry filters, so you can see some of the filters they have down here. It's quite a few. All right. Bot dependencies, they offer that as well. That's a cool feature. So let's talk about Option Omega. So brokers, Tasty Trade, Schwab, Tradier. Tickers, 6 including SPX and SPY. Support's also great. Native entry filters, they have a lot as well. They also offer GEX. Anything that's available in the backtest module is also available in live. Locally or cloud hosted, cloud, algo stops, yes. Wide bid ask protection, no. Hoping they're going to add that soon. Webhooks available, no. I did hear a rumor that they're working on those. We'll see. Knowledge base robust, yes. Strikes match, Option Omega backtest, yes. New features added fairly frequently. I don't think I mentioned this yet, but they do also have this modeling of options module that they also added that you get along with your membership if you do the live trading. A lot of people think it's really cool and useful. For the way I trade, I don't really use it that much. It's probably more useful for people that are keeping an eye or really watching things intraday or trading intraday without using fully automated systematic methods. Also for people that are trading probably longer days to expiration, it might make more sense to look at, but I don't use it a whole lot. But a lot of good reviews on it. Drawbacks, they don't offer wide bid ask protection. They don't have efficient spread settings like the other two do. And no webhooks, but again, I did hear a rumor. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Pros, the Option Omega backtest matches live. I'm going to show you actually real quick how you would create a bot or whatever you want to call it, automation on Option Omega. Good fill so far in algo stops for me. More native filters than the other two. Backtesting included, and the modeling modules included. So this is Option Omega. This is the gap and crap backtest that I shared a couple weeks ago, and we'll go ahead and create an automation from it. All you got to do is click this automate button right here. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, but all you got to do is put how many contracts you want to trade, and if you have a stop loss, this one doesn't, but if you did, you'd have to select stop loss settings real quick. Your entry execution, this is fine, at least for this trade the way it is. How long of an entry window you want, and you would just click save, and you'd be off to the races. So we just created that bot or automation, whatever you want to call it, in about 15 seconds. So overall, again, all of these are really good. The support on them has all been really good as well as far as my experience goes. I did just kind of do a quick ranking based off of like equal rated criteria. And again, you'll see how highly and how close these all rank to each other. Okay, so again, very good options. And hopefully this helps you guys make up your mind. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.